In the frosty heart of winter, where the ground was blanketed with fresh, powdery snow, four friends named Mike, Joey, Zach, and Mia set out to transform their backyard into something magical: the Snow Fort Kingdom. It was Mike who first suggested the idea, his eyes sparkling with excitement as he described a fortress unlike any other. Joey, ever the engineer, sketched out a blueprint in the snow with a stick, detailing high walls, watchtowers, and a grand throne room. Zach, eager for an adventure, was already piling up snow to start the construction, while Mia began to plan how they could defend their kingdom from any would-be invaders. Mike is a sturdy boy with a cheerful round face that often sports a big grin. He has curly brown hair that flops over his forehead. His eyes are a bright green, full of mischief and adventure. He's of average height for his age, but has a strong build from playing lots of outdoor games. Mike typically wears a blue winter jacket with a matching hat that's slightly too big for him, giving him a comical look. Joey is slimmer and slightly taller than Mike, with a wiry frame that's perfect for climbing and building. His hair is straight and brown, cut short for ease, and his eyes are a sharp, intelligent brown. He has a serious look most of the time, but when he smiles, his whole face lights up. He wears a dark green thermal jacket and a beanie that keeps his ears warm while he works. His glasses often fog up in the cold, but he's quick to clear them with a swipe of his sleeve. Zach is the tallest of the group, with long limbs that seem to be in constant motion. His hair is a shaggy blonde. His eyes are a light blue, reflecting his energetic spirit. He has a few freckles across his nose from all the time he spends outdoors. Zach's outfit is always a bit of a mismatch. On this day, he's wearing a bright orange jacket that's too large for him, paired with mismatched gloves, one red and one yellow, adding to his chaotic charm. Mia is of medium height, with a graceful build that belies her toughness. She has wavy red hair that she keeps in a neat ponytail to keep it out of her way. Her eyes are a jade green, observant and thoughtful, always scanning for the next move or opportunity. She dresses in a purple jacket trimmed with fur around the hood for warmth, and she has a scarf wrapped stylishly around her neck. Mia also wears mittens with a pattern that matches her hat, showing her attention to detail even in her winter gear. Together, they work tirelessly, shaping the snow into thick walls that would shield them from the cold winds. Joey, with his engineering mind, took on the ambitious task of constructing the towers. Each tower was a challenge in itself. He envisioned them as tall lookouts that would give a panoramic view of the battlefield. The first obstacle was the instability of the snow. It crumbled under its own weight if not packed correctly. Joey learned to layer the snow in a compact manner, using water to freeze the lower layers into a solid base. He then sculpted the towers to taper upwards, ensuring they were both tall and sturdy. For visibility, he cut narrow slits into the sides, creating windows that allowed defenders to see out without being exposed to incoming snowballs. Overcoming the issue of structural integrity, Joey's towers became the pride of Frosthaven, each one a testament to his patience and problem-solving skills. Meanwhile, Zach was tasked with creating a throne that would not only be grand, but also endure the harsh winter elements. Crafting the throne proved more challenging than anticipated. The snow was too soft to hold intricate details, and the cold made it hard to work with. Zach decided to use a mix of snow and slush, which he molded around a makeshift frame of sticks to give the throne its ornate shape. He painstakingly sculpted armrests adorned with snow gems and a high back that represented the grandeur of a monarch's seat. The throne's stability was compromised by the sun's rays, so Zach cleverly integrated a series of small icicles around the base that refracted light, casting a regal glow while also providing additional support. To further solidify his creation, he and Mike went on a hunt for the hardest snow, packing it around the weaker points. After hours of meticulous work, Zach's throne was not just a seat, but a symbol of Frosthaven's majesty, demonstrating how perseverance and innovation could turn simple snow into something extraordinary. Mia, with her strategic mind, organized the rounds of snowballs, creating ammunition stockpiles at strategic points around the fort, ensuring that every defender had quick access to their weapons during the playful siege. Her organization complemented Joey's and Zach's engineering feats, making the Snow Fort Kingdom a formidable and fun stronghold for winter's adventures. Their kingdom was far from a simple fort. It was an intricate maze of tunnels, secret passages, and high parapets that gave Frosthaven its mythical status. The construction of this snow-laden labyrinth began with the walls, which were initially broad but lacked height. The kids quickly realized that without proper elevation, their fort would be vulnerable to snowball attacks from above. They started by piling snow into large mounds, but these mounds often collapsed under their own weight. Mike, with his strong arms, took on the task of compacting the snow with a shovel, making each layer dense enough to support additional snow. This process was labor-intensive, but it resulted in walls that were both high and robust, reaching above the children's heads. The tunnels presented another challenge. They needed to be wide enough for the kids to crawl through, but not so wide that they undermined the structural integrity of the fort. Joey, with his engineering acumen, decided to build a framework of sticks and branches inside the snow to maintain the shape of the tunnels. However, this meant they had to work in a cramped, dark space, leading to some claustrophobic moments. They overcame this by working in shifts, allowing fresh air and light to guide their construction. The tunnels were not just pathways, but also escape routes and surprise attack corridors, adding depth to their strategic gameplay. Secret passages were even more difficult to craft due to the need for secrecy and surprise. Mia suggested they dig these from the inside out, starting from within the fort's walls to keep their locations covert. The snow would often cave in, but they learned to reinforce these hidden routes with additional layers of snow and ice, sometimes using water to freeze sections for added strength. The high parapets were the final touch, offering both aesthetic appeal and defensive advantage. They had to be thin enough to not consume all their snow resources, but strong enough to stand. Zach, always the creative one, suggested using a combination of packed snow and ice sculptures to adorn the parapets, giving them both beauty and fortitude. They encountered issues with the parapets melting under the sun, but by choosing the right times of day to work and using shade from nearby trees, they managed to keep their structures intact long enough for the cold night air to refreeze everything. The result was Frosthaven, named after the laborious effort and ingenious solutions that went into its creation. Within days, it stood proudly, not just as a fort, but as a testament to their teamwork, creativity, and the overcoming of each snowy challenge with laughter, innovation, and a shared spirit of adventure. The true test of Frosthaven's defenses came on a bright, cold morning when the neighborhood kids, playfully dubbed as the enemy forces, gathered with mischievous intent to challenge the fortress's might. The air was thick with anticipation as these young adversaries, armed with snowballs, positioned themselves around the fort, their breaths forming misty clouds in the frigid air. With a war cry of laughter, the battle commenced, snowballs hurtling through the sky like white comets, each one leaving a trail of laughter and shouts. Mike, perched atop the highest tower, his green eyes scanning the battlefield, became the eyes of Frosthaven. He called out the positions of the attackers with the urgency of a seasoned commander, his voice echoing through the cold air. Left flank, 3 coming from the oak tree. His strategic oversight was crucial, guiding the defenders to where they were most needed. Joey, with his engineering prowess, had spent days perfecting his makeshift catapults, crafted from sturdy sticks and resilient rubber bands. These devices, hidden behind the parapets, were now in action, their mechanisms creaking as they launched snowballs with astonishing force and accuracy. Each shot from Joey's catapults was a spectacle, the snowballs arching over the walls and landing with precision among the ranks of the enemy, sending them into fits of surprised laughter and tactical retreat. Zach, embodying the spirit of guerrilla warfare, was a blur of movement. His long limbs propelled him through the narrow, icy tunnels he had helped construct. With the stealth of a shadow, he emerged from secret passages at unexpected moments, his sudden ambushes turning the tide of the battle. His laughter echoed through the tunnels as he caught enemies off guard, pelting them with snowballs from behind, causing them to scatter in delightful disarray. The scene was one of pure, unadulterated joy mixed with the thrill of competition. The snow around Frosthaven was churned into a white frenzy, the ground littered with the remnants of snowballs and the footprints of battle. Each move, each shout, and each laugh was part of a grand snowy symphony, orchestrated by 4 friends defending their cherished kingdom against the playful onslaught of their peers. But it was Mia, with her jade green eyes that missed nothing, who truly brought the strategy of Frosthaven to life. Her mind worked like a chess grandmaster's, orchestrating the defenses into meticulously planned waves. She had devised a system where while one group of defenders hurled snowballs in a relentless barrage, others stood ready at the back, their hands busy molding fresh ammunition from the snow at their feet. Meanwhile, another team, armed with shovels and buckets, patrolled the walls, vigilant for any signs of weakness where the enemy's snowballs had begun to chip away at their icy fortifications. They moved with purpose, patching up breaches with fresh snow, their breath visible in the cold air as they worked to maintain the integrity of their kingdom. Mia's calm leadership was the anchor in the storm of battle. Her voice, steady and encouraging, could be heard over the chaos, rallying her friends with words of strategy and praise. "Keep up the pace, we've got this," she'd call out, her confidence infectious. Even as snowballs occasionally breached their defenses, landing with soft thuds inside the fort, her demeanor never wavered. She moved between her teams, offering quick advice or a reassuring smile, her purple jacket standing out like a flag of reassurance. Her presence alone was enough to keep the morale soaring, turning each setback into a rallying cry, each near miss into a moment of laughter and renewed determination. Under Mia's command, the defense of Frosthaven was not just about repelling an attack. It was a demonstration of unity, strategy, and unwavering spirit in the face of winter's playful warfare. The battle was fierce, an epic clash where snowballs flew with the fervor of a winter storm, each throw met with shouts of joy and strategic retreats. Yet, in the spirit of fun, the air was thick with laughter, the kind that only children in the throes of a grand adventure could produce. Faces were red with cold and excitement, eyes gleaming with mischief and mirth as they dodged, ducked, and defended. When the last snowball was finally launched, arching through the air in a final, glorious flight, the enemy began their retreat, their laughter echoing across the snowy battlefield. They shook off the clinging snow from their clothes, their defeat marked not by resentment, but by the shared joy of the game. Frosthaven stood victorious, its walls and towers dusted with fresh snow, a silent testament to the fortitude and camaraderie of its defenders. The four friends, their cheeks rosy and their breath steaming in the cold, gathered at the throne, which now sat at the heart of their kingdom. This throne, crafted with such care by Zach, seemed to gleam under the winter sun, symbolizing not just their victory, but their unity. They sat or stood around it, high-fiving and recounting the day's heroics with animated gestures. The celebration was sweetened by the arrival of Mia's mother, who had watched the entire spectacle with an amused smile, her eyes twinkling with pride. She came bearing mugs of steaming hot cocoa, the rich aroma mingling with the crisp air. Each child took a mug, hands wrapping around the warmth, the heat contrasting with the cold that had seeped into their gloves. They sipped, the warmth spreading through them, their laughter mingling with the clink of mugs as they toasted to their snowy kingdom, their adventures, and the bonds of friendship that no snowball siege could ever break. The day's adventures imparted to Mike, Joey, Zach, and Mia lessons far beyond the art of constructing a snow fort. They embraced a level of discipline where each task was meticulously delegated based on individual strengths. Mike, with his sturdy build, was the powerhouse, tasked with the heavy lifting and fortifying the walls. Joey's analytical mind was put to work in engineering the towers and catapults, his precision in planning proving invaluable. Zach, with his boundless energy, took on the challenge of crafting the intricate throne and darted through the tunnels, embodying the role of a swift scout. Mia, with her strategic foresight, coordinated their efforts, ensuring that each action was timed perfectly, from the throwing of snowballs to the mending of defenses. This delegation wasn't just about assigning tasks. It was about trusting in each other's capabilities, which in turn strengthened their bonds. They found joy not only in the strategic thinking that turned the tide of their playful war, but in the laughter and camaraderie that came with every coordinated move. Each shared glance, every high five after a successful defense, was a step closer to understanding that the real victory lay in the coordination and support they offered each other. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows over Frosthaven, the children knew this was but the first of many adventures in their snow-fort kingdom. And so, with plans for expansions and new defenses, they vowed to return to their winter realm, ready to face whatever snowy challenges might come their way.